of Chester.
Gang. Appreciate that CMP radio, man. I appreciate all the opportunities that you continue to provide for me to come up here every other weekend and provide some information to the crew, to my family, to the constituents, my friends, family, neighbors, everybody. This is Cool Ass Conversations with Will, episode number 3. Episode number 3 with Cool Ass Conversations with Will. As I told you from the first one since day one, I just wanted to be able to come up here just so you can see me in a different light. Take the tie off, hang it around the microphone so you know I'm one of you, but I'm also, business as well. So this is episode 3, Cool Ass Conversations with Will. And today, I don't have a special guest, but I do want to talk a little bit about what happened 2 weeks ago with the guest that was up here. Provide some more updates from the city of Chester and things that are upcoming that might be able to affect you in a positive way. And again, I'm not for the negativity, so I ain't going to provide no negative energy to you or provide you any information that's going to be negative. All I'm trying to do is uplift you, make you better than the day that you were before. So the first thing on my topic or my agenda today, as you see, or some of you may see, I got a white paper in front of me. I wanted to write type my agenda items up. I didn't want to go through my phone today. Usually I'm always tech savvy, going through my phone and calendar and things like that. But today I felt like I wanted it to be a little bit more, professional in some degree, even though my phone is professional as well. So today, Chantel Price. Chantel Price is someone who's a business consultant, has been in the city of Chester for a few years now, probably about 2 or 3 years. Some of you may know her from the Elevation Studios, from potentially having your events there, and for the dance. She's a dance coordinator or choreographer. I apologize, I'm giving the wrong terminology or language behind it all, but last week Chantel came up here and she provided some gems to those individuals who may have had the thought process of jumping into a business to provide some more residual income. So income that's pretty much rolling as you sleep. So, and those types of things can be you renting your car out through Turo, or it could be an Airbnb of your home for someone to rent out for their vacation or their stay. Could be a vending machine. I know that's been a hot topic, a hot business that's been going around for the last couple years as well. So one of the things that she came up here to talk about was the focus of coming into knowing what exactly that business should look like, creating a business plan behind it, marketing your business, and also knowing the type of clientele or location that you're in to see what's beneficial and what's not beneficial, just so that you don't put yourself in a bad position as far as throwing out all this money and or thinking that you're going to bring in a good amount of collect a good amount of revenue, and you're in the city of Chester and you're not in Miami, Florida. So it's a little bit, the landscape's a little different. But I think Chantel, she came up here, she provided some great insight. We got a lot of feedback from that, which that's what we intend to do here: get positive feedback, provide detailed information in turn to see how it can better benefit you. So I hope you all got some good things from that. Also in that conversation, as Chantel last week or 2 weeks ago, she had her going away event or a pop-up shop, and she had a good amount of vendors there, and she also was pretty much empowering the small business entrepreneurs that were looking to open their business and or kind of just take their business to the next level at that event. But prior to that, as I mentioned, she does consulting for businesses, creating a business plan, getting your LLC, your nonprofit, your S Corp, things like that, and kind of steering you in the right direction. We talked about how I would personally provide a financial payment to Chantel Price and her business consulting group if we had someone from the city of Chester that wanted to really hear from her, that wanted Chantel and to be there, some form of that individual that can kind of take them to the next step under her wing a little bit. So she came up with the idea to do a Shark Tank. So many of you know the show, the Shark Tank, with some of the big wealth partners and whatnot, individuals and businesses in the country and the world on Shark Tank, and they have individuals that come before them and present their plan, their business plan, their product. And that's pretty much what we're going to try to do. We're going to have those individuals that reach out to me via email that shows their interest. We're going to provide the guidelines and requirements and what we're looking for back to them via email. And we're going to schedule a date that they can come in person and or via virtual. We haven't really decided yet, but most likely it'll be in person. I think the in-person presentations are important. We get to feel the energy and the aura that the person brings into the room as they're talking about and pitching their business, because they should be proud of it anyway. So we're going to do a Shark Tank model to see who should best qualify and or get the donation of financial assistance to join the Price consulting team and potentially get their business plan made, or potentially be on the next billboard in Chester or Philadelphia and things like that. So more information to come. I will be in 2 weeks from now. The next show, episode 4, will be on August 24th, and we'll provide the guidelines and requirements, speak to them during that show. And again, if you are interested, please email me at coolassconversationswithwill. The ass is ASS, not with the dollar signs. However, we're going to try to put some dollars in your pocket. But it's coolassconversationswithwill@gmail.com. Again, just email me that you have interest, and I'll make sure to provide you with the requirements, the documentation that we're going to create. Email me at coolassconversationswithwill@gmail.com. So again, shout out to Chantel Price. Thank you for all of you've done here in the city of Chester in a small stint of time. Definitely empowering just to see the things that you've done and how you've thrived and taking your business to the next level, the next step. And we're looking to do that for the next person here in the city of Chester as well. Moving forward, on my next agenda item, I have some Chester City updates and comments that I want to speak to. So as I mentioned, a good amount of you individuals that may have interest in what's going on in the city of Chester may not be able to join our morning bi-weekly council meetings to hear about resolutions, ordinances that are being considered and or passed or denied, or may not be able to hear about the presentations and awards and accolades that we may provide to those individuals in the city of Chester that are making a difference. So I want to be able to provide a second source of that news to you here. And one of the things that was on the council meeting this morning is a resolution to approve. Now it's approved because mayor and council passed it. But the city of Chester will be applying to DCED, Department of Community and Economic Development, for a TRAN, TRAN, for a TRAN. TRAN stands for a Tax Revenue Anticipation Note. It's a loan that the city of Chester in the past has pretty much did on an annual basis. In the past, though, a loan is a loan. You normally get a interest bearing, having some interest attached to it. Principal interest, you have to pay it back by the end of that calendar year which you've received it. But the TRAN is pretty much saying that, hey, we anticipate to bring in, I don't know, $3 million worth of real estate taxes, and we're going to put that up as, collateral pretty much to get upfront money to handle general fund operations. So we approved a resolution today to apply to DCED for a 2023 TRAN, Tax Revenue Anticipation Note. Again, we did do this in 2021 for 2022. So currently at the top of this year of 2021, we received, the application was for $5 million. The city of Chester did receive that $5 million for the TRAN. We are currently in the stages of paying that back. The good thing about this TRAN was that it wasn't interest bearing. So we received $5 million loan, and we'll be paying back $5 million, just the principal of it. So we're actually starting our process of repaying this. The city just paid roughly about a little over $800,000 maybe a few weeks ago as our first installment of the repayment plan. And this has to be paid back in full by December 31, and we're on track to do that as well. But the application, again, is for a 2023 TRAN, just doing something similar that we've done in the past, and we'll try to continue moving forward to keep our operations and services that we provide to the city of Chester moving without any abrupt end to that. So the other thing that I won't speak a lot on, I'll leave for later in my discussion because I have some comments about it, but it was a multimodal transportation fund grant. I think I mentioned this in our last meeting, a grant that we applied for to DCED. But nonetheless, I'll bring that up later on in this conversation. Some things that kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I felt the need just to get off of my chest because I can do that. Job postings. In the city of Chester, we have a lot of, we normally don't have that much turnover. But in the past 2-3 years, we've had a good amount of turnover. Some of that is because of the pandemic, and some of that is just because simply individuals want a fresh start of employment with another employer, or they taking a dive into the deep end and just going out there to be an entrepreneur, which I 100% support with both of those opportunities or options. If they feel the need, they need to take their talents somewhere else and go get bigger and better coins, or kind of advance themselves and build up their resume, go for it. I'm also always supportive of building someone's career up for the betterment of themselves and their family. So go do what you got to do. Go grab your coins. And with that, I just want to keep everybody abreast that you got to continue to be on the lookout for our job postings. A lot of people always come up to me asking for job opportunities. I will say the city of Chester does not have a lot of job opportunities, but you can always either reach out to me and tell me what your interest is. I don't want to, if you reach out to me, say you want a job, that's all well and dandy, but you have to give me something to work with. I need to know what's your interest. Are you looking to work with your hands? You looking to be behind a desk? Are you a nurse? You got to let me know, or let us know in general, what you're looking to put your talents into, so we can kind of best direct you. But if you have job interest or looking for another career path, please reach out to our workforce development coordinator in the city of Chester. Don't have that number off the top of my head, but I do have the main line number for the city of Chester, which is 610-447-7700. Ask to speak with the workforce development coordinator, who can hopefully better assist you or direct you into an opportunity that fits your needs. But here at the city of Chester, we currently have a few opening positions that you might have interest in, or again, may know someone who is looking to get a career change. And those positions are, sad to say it, but the director of human resources is leaving the city of Chester. So that will be a posting that is not up as of yet, but we will be posting that position soon, pending some conversations. The next one is a supervisor of inspectors. So we have had that posted. I believe we had a few interviews for that position, but however, it may still be posted. I'm not sure. But what you can do is go on our website at www.chestercity.com and see if that position is on there, or any position is on there. I know we have a few labor or driver positions open for the Public Works Department, and we also have a permit service manager position open, which is a position that's kind of connected to planning/zoning, and also connected to licenses and inspections and public safety. So that position, we think, will do a great deal for synchronizing the communication between, again, both of those departments, planning and licenses and inspections. And we hope that that'll cut down on some of the conversations of getting the application for your permit and or receiving your sign off for your blueprints and things like that for you to do construction, rehabilitation, or get a UNOs, rental UNOs and things like that here in the city of Chester. So we do think that those might be able to change the landscape a little bit of that department with some other things within licenses and inspections. We're trying to find a way, how do we create a good extranet type of software to allow a contractor to go through the process as we're going through the process. So they can go online and be able to pull the application off of the website, submit the application through the website, and they can be able to track that entire application to its end process as far as getting a sign off from that department, a sign off for their permit, a sign off for their use and occupancy certification, different things like that. So we're moving in a good direction, getting things digitized, more on our website, less paper. It just takes time. A lot of things in the city, and I won't just say the city. I've worked in some other municipalities and throughout the county and areas, and we're not the only ones like this, but a lot of things are antiquated, and technology is ever so changing. And the moment you put out a good amount of money to update your technology, there's something new that's coming down the pike that the younger generation and or others are kind of getting adapted to. So we're trying to see how we can come up to the modernized way of using technology and providing it to the constituents, but also trying to be on the forefront of also what's coming down the pike so we can stay ahead of the game. So that's what I have to say about job postings and also the licensing and inspection. So again, American Rescue Plan. I think back on July 20th, we had a meeting to the public, and the public showed up and showed out in a good way, I would say that. They came out to speak about some of their displeasure about how we intended to use the funds. Reason being, currently there's two buckets of the American Rescue Plan of how you can use the money. The city lost revenue because of the pandemic, so there's a loss of revenue bucket. Pretty much says that whatever fits in this bucket that the city lost based on its revenue, then you can use that for general operation purposes. So that's paying your utility bills, that's paying for gasoline, that's paying for your employee salary. It kind of goes in general fund, still for the necessary needs to keep operations going in the city of Chester, but we have to report on it. It doesn't have as much as a strict reporting to the Department of Treasury. Then there's this other bucket over here that says all of these projects or programs that you're going to create has to be deemed allowable by the Department of Treasury. So that can be things as far as responding to the public health pandemic. It can be returning employees back to work. I'm drawing a blank, but it can be improvements to the parks, improvements to broadband infrastructure, such as broadband infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, water infrastructure, things like that. So we've created a proposed budget that initially had a little bit over $19 million that it was in its loss of revenue bucket. And quite frankly, it's really justifiable to have the 19 plus million in that loss of revenue bucket because the city of Chester is financially strapped and really doesn't have or does not bring in the amounts of revenue to kind of sustain its year-to-year operations. So it's most certainly justifiable to maximize the loss of revenue bucket with the 19 plus million dollars to use. The issue that came about was that the city of Chester only got a little bit over 30 million. So more than 3/4 of it is going to loss of revenue. And there's this other small portion that's going to go out to the residents and or to bolster or improve some of the things that we do on the cities and some internal needs. So many of the residents wanted to, it seems like would like to see that number of loss of revenue decrease, if not be taken away, as some would say, and kind of pushed over to being more of a resource and benefit to the community. So internally, we're looking at that. We're seeing what's the best ways to have our next conversation with the public. That is not scheduled yet, but the budget is not final. One thing I do know is that we're going to try to do as much as we can to maximize the loss of revenue bucket. Again, most of that money, though it's for general fund purposes, you got to understand general fund purposes still is here to serve the constituents. So we still have to pay public works and the police and fire to respond to the needs of the community. We still have to pay our trash collectors and repave the sinkholes and potholes in the city of Chester so that you have a solid and a right of way to drive and walk on. So those are still general fund needs that the revenue replacement is going to provide support for. And again, the other bucket that says these are the programs and projects that we're going to use, they're most certainly going to be used for the public. So we're going to have another scheduled meeting. I think that next meeting is probably going to be till maybe sometime in September. At that meeting, you'll see some changes within the updated budget. We've reached out to a few of those members that came out to the meeting, and to some others as well, just to see how we can add a program that is more fitting and to tackle all of the categories that are allowable to use the funds on. So be on the lookout for that. To stay up to date on what we've reported on. So our most recent report was completed on July 28th. We had to complete one by July 30th. And you can go on the City of Chester's website, chestercity.com. You'll see the American Rescue Plan and or ARPA, a tab for that. And there you can click on the guidelines and requirements. You can click on the presentation that we completed or presented, back in July. And you can also see about the projects that we've reported on thus far in 2022. There was a reporting period done in April 30th, and this was the second one for 2022 in July. So just to stay up to date on that, again, you can go to the Chester City website, and we'll be providing another update on when that next meeting is, so that the public can come out and hear about what the adjustments that we've made to cater to the needs of our residents, of our business community. To get better at what we do. So as I try to wind down, I want to give some updates on some programs that some of you may not be aware of, but a few weeks ago we met with some representatives from Delaware County to go over some of the concerns or needs of the city of Chester and to try to get on the same page with some things. So I thought it was a good meeting. We have some work to do as far as the communication, work to do as far as how do we define the projects and get projects and or tasks completed and checked off. But I don't recall many times that I've, at least in my seat, that I've actually had county council representatives come down to discuss things that's going on in the county and seeing how they can help us, and actually followed up with a response on that. So one of the things that was mentioned in there is how do they provide support for the community of Chester, the city of Chester, for their American Rescue Plan. The county received more money than the city did, and they have some funds that right now are, I would just say, unallocated, and they want to hear from the community or have a project presented to them on what they can use the monies for within the communities, possibly throughout the entire county. But if it comes from the city of Chester, then maybe the allotment will be a little bit larger, because our needs, in my opinion, are always larger than others. So we come first here. One of the things they brought up was a program that's new. It's called Delaware County Community Partnering Program. Now, I never heard of this program. If you go on their website, just type in Delaware County Community Partnering Program. It's something that's new. It's a new announcement. It's designed to empower neighborhoods and build communities through the deployment of micro grants to be used to improve and enhance the county. Some of the things that they say as eligible or might be eligible if it's presented to the county is if community groups, neighborhood associations, and organizations are eligible to receive a grant to help fund projects that are organized and sustained by neighborhood residents and community groups and can include, but are not limited to, which is important, community gardens, pocket parks, bicycle facilities, pedestrian enhancements, elder transport coordination, snow removal for physical restricted persons, or education initiatives such as energy awareness programs. So just reading that it touches on, again, it says, but are not limited to, meaning that there's some other opportunities out there if there's something that's presented to them that they weren't necessarily thinking of, but that primarily fits the needs of the city of Chester, the neighborhood, or something that we may have came up with. But reading through this, I see that there are a few community projects that we as a community should most certainly look into. If you need more information about this, or for me to better assist and direct you on how we can go, just reach out to my office at the City of Chester. My number is 610-447-7790, or I'm gonna give you another email, but you can reach out to me via email at wmorgan, that's WMORGAN at chestercity.com, and we can try to help steam forward your project, potential project to the county to see if it's deemed as eligible and how we can get funded for it, and then how we can administer it and get it managed and things like that. But I know in other communities I've seen community gardens, and we have some community gardens here. Oftentimes they're bringing vegetables to my office. I actually just yesterday they bought some vegetables to my office in some bags. So I appreciate those individuals who do that. Pocket parks, bicycle facilities, pedestrian enhancements. We most certainly should have some pedestrian enhancements here in the city of Chester. Elder transport coordination, snow removal. We know the winter months are approaching, and it says snow removal for physical restricted persons. So again, I won't go into too much of it anymore. But if you have more interest or have something that you want to suggest and you want to reach out to me for more information on it, please do. Again, that's wmorgan at chestercity.com, and I'll do my best. Me and my assistant will do our best to get back to you and see how we can kind of push the narrative forward so we can get the proper funding and see how it can benefit our residents. All right. As we continue forward, broadband. So I think on my first episode, there were some individuals that questioned about the broadband survey that's going on in the county. So as you know, during the health pandemic, many schools were closed, but unlike some of those other districts or families, a lot of the students and families here in the city of Chester were unable to continue getting their education because of the lack of internet services, or the bandwidth, or the strength in the household, or a single parent really only has Wi-Fi connection through their cell phone, and maybe they have 2 or 3 children and things just didn't work out. So there's been a strong conversation about how we improve the broadband connectivity, not just improve, but enhance it as well in areas that doesn't have it. But here in the city of Chester, not just in case if there's another pandemic, but just solely because the way that our nation and our future is headed is just going more digital, more electronic, more internet based. So the families need broadband internet connectivity to do what they need to do, especially those children that's in school. So on our website, I believe it's on our website, but most certainly I know it's on our Facebook social media. And I made certain today that I will be here and speak on this. I made certain that the city of Chester posted that on our Facebook social media page today. So if you go on there today, there's a survey from Delaware County. It's a broadband survey. Again, it was posted on our Facebook social media. I'm going to request I know people don't like when people say demand, but listen, this stuff like this is important. You might have an opportunity. We may have an opportunity to get the proper funding to provide broadband throughout the entire city, throughout the entire county. And the more surveys, the more survey responses or people that go on and complete the survey, the better it will be for all of us as a whole. We're a whole. We're one unit. We're a community, and we need that. So please go on the City of Chester's page, Facebook, and complete the broadband survey. Shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. I know you have that time. Just get off the Facebook, Instagram, get off to the reality TV shows, or maybe you do it while you're watching your reality TV shows. But complete the broadband survey. It's important. It's important. It is important. Back to school. Listen, we on our way back to school already. So the kids have had. I'm glad the kids have had that time off. I know I enjoyed my summers off when I was a kid. Though it's also the season for sports and football sometimes, and other sports can kind of get in the way of playing with your friends and things like that. But you still have that social aspect when you're with your team and bonding and whatnot. But nonetheless, school is back in action, or approaching to be back in action in the coming weeks. And there's a lot of individuals, organizations that are doing back to school book bag giveaway drives. So, and I commend them all. We know in our communities and other communities, but our community, that there are a good amount of families and children that at times either don't have a book bag and or supplies to start school, or a few months through or midway through the school year, that book bag may be falling apart. So I think it's important for us as adults and community organizations to provide as many drives and supplies and book bags as needed and necessary for our children, so that they don't feel slighted. And they can go to school prepared to learn and get better. So there's a lot of book bag giveaways. I bring this up because I also have one as well. So every year I do a book bag giveaway around the first wards, and I will be doing that around the first ward this year. But there's going to be even a bigger one on August 26th. I believe that's a Friday. I'm not sure of the exact time, but some of you may have seen a flyer that was posted via on the Facebook page from me and shared as well with my name on it and then Bilal Nichols' name on it. Initially, that was scheduled for August 27th. What happened was, first of all, we're going to change it to August 26th. We've been in contact with the Chester Upland School District, and we've decided to partner with the school district. We want to show that the adults, the organizations can come together, collaborate, and still have amazing turnouts, amazing events, and bigger and better than ever. So August 26th is going to be the book bag giveaway. We're probably going to give out somewhere upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 book bags. We're going to have moon bounces, video game trucks, cotton candy, popcorn, a good amount of activities for the children to come out and just enjoy for the short period of time. I want to say it's going to be for about 3 to 4 hours. And I appreciate the individuals that has taken the time out and the steps to make this event one that's going to be memorable. And this is obviously something we're going to do on an annual basis. But I do know that August 26th is going to be a great event. So mark that down on your calendars. You'll be seeing those flyers and posts continue to come out as we market and advertise for that event on August 26th on our social media platforms, and I'm sure the Chester Upland School District's platform as well. So August 26th will be that back to school giveaway. My last thing that I want to talk about, I said it earlier, one of the resolutions that was passed 2 weeks ago was a grant application from the city of Chester to apply for a DCED multimodal grant, not to exceed $3 million. The city has applied for something like this in the past. The multimodal grant is a $3 million application to do a street refacing project on Route 291, West 2nd Street of the Waterfront. As you know, probably about 4 years ago, maybe now 3 or 4 years ago, we completed a waterfront master plan, and you can see that on our City of Chester website as well. It's a great Great read, great document with some pictures involved as far as what the waterfront, primarily from Highland Street to North Street, can potentially look like with the proper development team, with the proper investments, with the proper financials, what it can look like for the city of Chester to make that a safe corridor for individuals to walk across 291, to drive down to 291, park their cars and either walk the trail, sit out and lounge, get some food at some of those restaurants out there, and enjoy some of the recreational activities that might be going on down there. And we've been trying to hit on the master plan bit by bit with small wins. And I'm a big proponent of small wins. I think that's important to continue to check off the boxes and accomplish those goals that you set out for whatever is the end goal, the big end goal. So you may see that over the last 2 years, we repaved and put sidewalks on, I want to say it might be Engle Street. English Street now has some lights. It no longer has the road filled with rocks and gravel. It has an actual paved road with sidewalks. We're looking to do the same thing on Rainy Street. Have repave Rainy Street with the bump outs for the sidewalks. Had brick pavers in the middle of Chester that say City of Chester. Redo the lights and the lightings across the roadways and things like that. Something that's going to be beautiful on Rainy Street. This $3 million project, as you know, we've had a lot of accidents on 291, and we can't sit as mayor and council on those platforms and not do anything. So we've had countless conversations with the engineers, with PennDOT, who owns Route 291, and the individuals or department that will provide or look to provide any types of rehabilitation or adjustments to Route 291. But we've had conversations with them as far as trying to make it safer for vehicles and pedestrians. We have to find a way to have zero accidents and zero fatalities on 291. So some of those steps are cutting down trees and pruning and cutting back the trees. We're starting that process now as well. Another one is looking at the assessments of the streets that turn out onto 291. Do you make those one ways and kind of funnel everybody to the streets that have street lights? Another thing that we're looking at is the sidewalks, the intersection of the sidewalks where cars are parked too close to the curb or to the corner, and individuals that's pulling out, they can't see left and or right. So there's a number of things that we're looking at. As I mentioned, the trees is the first project that we're looking to do. One of the first projects we're looking to do, apply for this multimodal grant that's going to hopefully provide some safe corridors for West 2nd Street. The reason why I wanted to bring this up last is that personally, it frustrates me at times that initially early in my seat as an elected official, I wanted to try to find a way to, I guess, change the life for everybody or save everybody. And I think, unfortunately, I can honestly say that I know that I probably can't save everybody. Quite frankly, because some individuals out here just don't want to be saved or they don't want to be helped. And with that, I just have to continue to move on to that next individual that's willing to open their hand and allow for mayor and council or whomever to provide some assistance so that they don't have to live in distress or they don't have to live the way that they're currently living, and to provide them with a better way to move forward. I've came to that realization that I can't please every resident here in the city of Chester, no matter if I do good for the neighbor next to them or not. If it doesn't affect them or benefit them, at times that they can get angry or upset of the things that we do that might genuinely be beneficial to someone else. This resolution was passed 2 weeks ago, and there was a comment on our Facebook feed that once this resolution was passed, someone made a comment. I don't know exactly what it said, but what it said was, who cares? Pretty much it was like, who cares about Route 291? They need to focus on some of the inner city streets. Time out. First things first, Route 291 is still in the city of Chester. So, I mean, there's a resolution to try to make an adjustment and or improvement on Route 291. Similar to, there's also been adjustments or resolutions posed or put forward to make adjustments and or enhancements on other streets here in the city of Chester, whether it's been 9th Street, whether it's been 18th Street. I'm just throwing out streets, but we don't not consider other neighborhoods or communities or streets We just focus on what's the task at hand, and the next resolution or next council meeting, there can be a resolution to do something on a block within a residential neighborhood. You never know. But this is one that's kind of been in the front of our eyes because of the accidents and fatalities that's been happening. Which also made me upsetting, or made me look into it differently, is because as that person who actually was in the council meeting when this was approved made that comment on the Facebook page, as that person sat there, across the room to the other side was 3 individuals who were 100% supporting the same resolution. Why? Because they live in this neighborhood. They live on Route 291. They want to see the improvements. They want to see the traffic decrease or the fatalities decrease. They want to see the trash and debris get improved or cleaned up on Route 291. It's like we're fighting with each other, and we should be trying to pull the same weight. And I said this before, but you people end up getting mad at mayor and council and or myself for things that we believe that we're doing to try to help one. And I kind of feel like you wouldn't go on a Spirit plane. I'm just say Spirit because everybody got issues with Spirit. But you wouldn't go on a Spirit plane and want the pilot to fail. You wouldn't. So why me as deputy mayor and my colleagues and counterparts as council, mayor and council, while we're in this seat, I will hope and pray that you all wouldn't wish bad on us that want us to fail either, because we're just here trying to do our civic duty to provide change here in the city of Chester. So again, I hold myself as a part of being a part of that pilot on that plane, and I don't intend to fail anybody in the seat that I'm in. I want to make sure that we have a smooth landing, avoid all the turbulence. Actually, I know there's going to be turbulence. Nonetheless, we're going to have a smooth landing, though. So that just struck my heart the wrong way when there's someone across the hallway saying that that's to some degree, it's not a priority, that's not a focus. But there's someone in that community, in that neighborhood, who is clapping their hands and saying thank you to mayor and council for looking into this and investigating this. And I just we're bickering and fighting, and it's not right. With that, all I'll say is that, again, you'll hear more about me about the Shark Tank for the business assistance. Look out for the job postings with the city of Chester. Please get with me if you have any more interest on the Delaware County Community Partnering Program. Reach out to me at my Chester City email address at wmorgan@chestercity.com. Please complete that broadband survey. I will be here again, I want to say August 24th, as long as CMP unlocks those doors for me. I'll be here again so you can talk to me with cool ass conversations with Will. And last but not least, I just want to leave a quote of the day is by the great Nelson Mandela. It says, "It always seems impossible until it is done." Again, Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. So for those friends or family members that you might have that might not give you the energy that you providing to take that leap of faith and start your business and or to resign from what you want to do, sometimes all you need is you, and for you to just go ahead and push forward and some form of have tunnel vision, but make that impossible possible. And you're that one person that can be able to do that. So again, that quote of the day is "It always seems impossible until it's done" by Nelson Mandela. Again, this is Will, your deputy mayor, with cool ass conversations with Will. It is now 5:43, so you got time to go home and get your spaghetti. I'm signing out. I see y'all here again August 24th. Salute.